Hey guys, welcome back to Talk About Money. Today we're gonna do a bit of a different video. We're gonna analyze a property that's up for sale in the suburb of Cowan, in the upper North Shore of Sydney. And I want to take you through all the process that I usually do when I'm doing some high-level analysis on properties that I may be interested to buy. So I just want to take you through all the methodology and all the tools that I use and the number crunch that I do even before I inspect the property. So if you like the content today, please make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you leave a comment in there if you do like the content, if there is any questions that you may have. So let's dive in. Knock Knock allows you to do some suburb matching and also search for properties in specific suburbs. So here I'm looking at the suburb of Cowan, and you can see here that is basically the first thing it does to you is actually highlighting that there is a shortlisted property. And the reason it's shortlisted is because it looks into a number of different algorithms, but the reason why this property is shortlisted is because there has been a price reduction. So now the guidance from the agents is the property is for sale between 1.1 and 1.2 mil. Take into account the lower amount, but if you want to play with the numbers, you can actually play here, put different amounts, 1.15, 1.2, whatever it is the number that you want to play with. But analyzing at the number it's advertised for the lower end. This property flags two different algorithms. The first one is that it is below the median for a 3-bedroom house in the suburb, which is a good thing. So it's on the low end. And the second thing is that there is potential upside for renovation. So what does that mean? So it looks at the median price and also the high-end price of 3-bedroom houses. And I can sort of quickly scan here. So you can see entry level, those 10 sales in the last year, the entry level was 881. The median price is about 1.295. There has been a couple of high-end sales, and the high end of the market sits about 1.65. So if you, technically speaking, if you're purchasing a property between 1.1 and 1.2, it is below the median for a 3-bedroom house, which means that if you wanted to potentially do some renovations in the future, do an extension, but it depends on a lot of things. But if you're doing things to add value and you can bring that property up to the high end, you have enough gap in there to justify that renovation. So that's basically what the flag is in here. I'm going to spend some time on the suburb scoring. So the application also does a lot of scoring on the suburb. At the moment, it's coming back with a 62%. So I analyze a whole bunch of things. So auction clearance rate, for argument's sake, it's 4 out of 5. So there is strong demand. Population forecast is also quite high. The average growth for the last 3 years has been quite high as well. There hasn't been many sales because it's a small suburb, and then I'll go through the data from the ABS in a second. So that's at the moment is coming back as 0. The number of renters versus the proportion of people that actually own property is very small. So it's a very sort of it's a suburb where a lot of people tend to own the house as opposed to rent. Vacancy rate is very tight. And the yield is actually not that bad for Sydney property. There hasn't been much discounting in there, and Stockholm market has been very limited in the past 12 months as well. There is some stats here about the number of people, number of houses, and what the statistics about the suburb in here. But I'm going to jump on the ABS suburb where all the data comes from anyway, so I'll take you through that. ID, they provide a lot of information for councils around Australia. So they have some information about the Hornsby Shire. So if you click on the information about the council, I'm not going to go through the details. You can actually have a look in here, but in a nutshell, you will look at the population and with the areas that are increasing in population within the LGA, and it will give you sort of some forecast, which is always good to have a buyer property in an area that's increasing in population, because you tend to have a higher demand for housing as the year goes by. But also on the drivers of the population change, they tend to give a bit of a history on why sort of that area has been growing and which specific suburbs in that LGA tends to to cater for the growing population. It gives some insights of where the people are moving. So, for example, here you can see that majority of the people coming to live in the Hornsby Shire comes from overseas. There's a big chunk of people coming from the Parramatta Council area as well. You tend to lose people to the Hills Shire, to the Central Coast, Gold Coast, Northern Beaches, and other areas. So just give you some really good insights. And also they tend to give you a lot of information here where probably the new houses and everything else is going to come from. So there is nothing specific about Cowan here, but it tells you that a lot of the medium density development is happening along the Hornsby, Mount Colah, and Asquith areas. Is probably where the population is going to be growing in the LGA. So I think there's a lot of good insights here for you to have a look at. The other thing that I want to sort of quickly touch is about the ABS. They give a really good snapshot of the population and what's going on in the area. So you tell you the breakdown between male, female, kids, families, the number of dwellings, and you can actually dig through the data, age. Everything is based on the census. So this is still 2016. I think they're still crunching the numbers for the 2021 census, but it just gives a lot of good insights about the area. And especially if it is an investment, who are probably your target market. So I think this is very, very cool tool to use. Another website that I like to have a look at is Microburbs. They tend to rank the suburbs. So in here, for example, they'll rank a lot of the different things for the suburbs. So for example, HIP score will tell you how easy it is to cycle, shops, and a whole bunch of things. So it's just a very good tool to give you how does the suburb rate across a number of different aspects. So have a look. I think it's a good one to have a look at. Other thing that you can do is you can always go to the council website. So in this instance, I'm going to the Hornsby Shire Council. I already did a look. So sometimes I like to have a look if there is any DA applications for the specific suburb, specific the house that I'm looking at, or even the neighborhood. So sometimes you can have a look. You can just inquire about an address, and that can give a lot of good insights of what's happening around the property that you look at. So if there is, for example, a development for a massive building next door, which is not the case here because everything there is on the low density, so there is no buildings or anything being built around it, but that gives you a lot of good insights. So it's always good to check that sort of stuff. The e-planning tool from the New South Wales website is planning department is actually pretty good as well. So for example, he will give some information about the property. So I already typed the address in there, but you can actually export, you can generate a report on the property, and you can see here, you'll give you some information, the maximum height, if you're building a property, for example, you're buying a block of land, you just give you some insights. And probably the only thing that I was going to highlight here is there is possibly some bushfire implications. So that's probably something that you would need to check on this specific property. That's just something that I like to check as well. Quick overview of the property. Few things that I like about it is price has been updated. So there's a bit of a discount now being offered on the price. And it is a very affordable home, entry-level house. So people would probably cater for a first home buyer or somebody looking to upgrade from a unit, looking to move with the family. So we will cater for a young family or any family in general, to be honest. It could cater for investors. I'll do some number crunching shortly, and it's just that I particularly don't like the rental yields of Sydney, but it is not that bad compared to a lot of other suburbs. But it is in a fairly bigger block of land, and it is cheaper than a lot of townhouses and units in the Upper North Shore. It is a little bit further, but I mean, you can't really get a house in Sydney for 1.1 million these days is very unusual. So price-wise, I think it's very affordable for a house in Sydney. And it puts in comparison to a lot of townhouses and units in the North Shore, as I was saying. It's close to the M1, so it's a short drive to some of the shops in Berara, short drive to the highway to be able to go up to the Central Coast, Newcastle. So there is a lot of roads nearby, and it is actually a short walk from the Cowan train station. So you can just jump on the train to come down to Sydney Centre, or anywhere else in Sydney or around. So that's very good, strong sort of points. It's close to this public school, is just across the road from the house as well. The North Connects opened up last year, so that's also a big improvement for people traveling, for example, to Bella Vista or anywhere in the sort of western Sydney. So even to go to the city by car now it's actually a lot quicker to go from the upper North Shore suburbs. There's just a couple of points in there that I'm just putting as cons, but I mean, within all of the good and positive things, I think it's just probably worthwhile mentioning that there is a bit of slope on the block. So you're not building or constructing anything, so it shouldn't impact much. But there is a fairly big backyard, but there's a bit of a slope. And I think it might be bushfire prone land. So it's just probably something that would have to check as well. So here's the house. It's a 3-bedroom cottage. As we enter the living area, we can see there is a lot of space for a couch. You also have a dining area that's connected to the living area. You have a window that you can basically see the outside. As you walk through the living areas, you go into the kitchen, and the kitchen is actually quite big. It doesn't need to be updated. I mean, it's moving ready. Has a nice pantry over there that you can see. We're gonna have a look now. Quite spacious pantry, so we can probably put a lot of stuff in there, which is good. Storage always comes good. And as you're walking through the inside the bedrooms, there is the first bedroom here on the left. Has a ceiling fan, has enough space for a double bed. It has a built-in wardrobe over here too. This is the master bedroom. It's a bit bigger. Ceiling fan. The bathroom has been updated recently, so it looks actually quite new. Looks pretty nice. Nice bathtub for a family. And this is the third bedroom, which is a little bit smaller, but it can still cater for a family. As we kind of move to the outdoor area, there is a nice deck that you can sort of oversee a little bit of the bush outside, but it's a quite spacious deck. You can entertain in there a little bit, and the bit that I forgot to show was the laundry there. And here's the back of the property. So this is the backyard. There's a bit of a slope in there, but you can see there is a fair bit of space here. I'm just gonna show the side of the house here as you look up to the front of the house in the street. But on the back here, there are a set of stairs that can take you all the way back there. And there's a fair bit of space in there. So doing a bit of number crunching. Assuming a rent of $650 per week, assuming also that you're purchasing the property for 1.1 million, and you have an interest rate of 2.5% and a 20% deposit, so the loan is 880. That's a 3.07 rental yield, which in Sydney terms is actually also is not that bad. So in terms of income per annum at 650 per week, that's just me taking a sort of a medium rent for the area for a 3-bedroom house. It brings an income of 33,800 per annum. You take into account property manager interest. I'm just using interest only here, so just to highlight the interest here is interest only. There is no principal. Council rates, water charges, building insurance, landlord insurance, some maintenance in there. If there is land tax, depending on your circumstances, your expenses comes pretty close to the income. So technically speaking, it could be a cash flow positive depending on your leverage and depending on your interest rate. So you most likely probably gonna be getting a little bit higher than 2.5 if you're buying as an investment. So that's probably the only thing that I was going to say, but it's not a horrible thing for Sydney. So that's in terms of rental yield. So that's what I was trying to say. In terms of how much money you would need to purchase the property, a deposit of 20% would be at 1.1 million would be 220,000. Stamp duty about just under 46,000. Some legal, so a conveyancer or solicitor, another couple of grand. Building and pest inspection, that's probably another $650. So you need about $268,000 as in deposit to be able to purchase the property.
Right. If this property is for you, please make sure that you contact the agent.
The link is below with the contact details. Arrange an inspection. And if you're a serious buyer, if this property is for you, make sure that you do your own work, crunch your own numbers, that your finance ready, check with your broker. Also check with your solicitor or conveyancer to make sure the contract is all in order. Then make an offer and check and get your building and pest inspections organized. And off you go. Good luck. Just before I go, make sure that you like and subscribe for more content like this. I will continue to produce more videos like this one. Try our Knock Knock application for free. The link is below. And make sure that you subscribe to our weekly newsletter with more deals like this on a weekly basis. Thank you. Bye-bye.